Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. What do we got today, Rick?
We got the Week 5 waiver wire.
Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's poppin', Fantasy Champs? I feel like I'm full-fledged in the fall. I don't drink pumpkin spice lattes like a white chick. I drink...
You don't?
I'm over here drinking microwaved apple cider.
Man, you really are living in the fall, huh?
Right out of this cup I bought at friggin' Wally World.
Yeah, you're definitely not a white girl, right? For sure.
Listen. I don't want to hear
I'm not
none of that.
hating. I'm just, making up some observations.
I'm not even going to lie. This is my second cup of apple cider today.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
This is disgusting, to be honest with you.
It's October.
It is October. We are into week 5 already of the NFL season. Today we're going to talk about some waiver wire additions for your fantasy team for this week. Excuse me. We also have some news to start the show. But before we jump into that, be sure to check out our website, thefantasychampions.com. You can get articles and content there to help you win your weeks. Go to Twitter at the FFChamps to follow us there. And you can follow us on Instagram at the Fantasy Champions. You can like us at facebook.com/the Fantasy Champions. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, be sure to subscribe. As always, leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and click the bell for notifications, like, and comment down below any questions you have leading into week 5. We will answer them, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll do our best to.
It was a busy weekend of news, and we'll probably talk about a lot of that busy weekend of news, i.e. Cam Newton. We're recording this on Monday, by the way. So if we talk about Monday Night Football and Thursday, Monday night, both Monday night games at all.
Yeah,
forgive us. But anyway, Cam Newton tested positive on Friday, pushing the Patriots game to 7:05 tonight or Monday. So a lot of fantasy matchups are in the balance tonight. In the balance. So I hope you won your league.
Yeah.
I hope you won your league. That's not the news I was talking about.
Breaking news.
For fun.
Oh, shoot.
So Houston just fired. This was the news, by the way. I just wanted to hit the button for fun. The Texans fired Bill O'Brien, the trash bag GM. Not a bad head coach, but trash bag GM of the Houston Texans. So you told me before the show that they don't even have a first and second round pick.
They do not. I don't know about second, but they definitely don't have a first round pick. Miami has that pick.
Congratulations, Miami.
I mean, I don't know why he got fired.
Why did they have the first? Oh, Laramie Tunsil. That's why.
He traded DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson. I mean, I think that's, was a fantastic move.
And a second round pick for Brandon Cooks, who he has yet to use.
Genius, right?
Yeah. So the replacement head coach is Romeo Cornell, is what we've both heard. I don't know if he was assistant. I know he wasn't the offensive or defensive coordinator. I think he might have been assistant head coach.
He was the assistant head coach for the Texans, and I know he's a defensive mind.
I was telling you, it's sad that Adam Gase outlived Bill O'Brien.
Yeah. I mean, that is sad, man.
If you got fired before Bill O'Brien, how bad do you have to be?
I have no idea what the Jets are doing whatsoever.
Yeah, they doubled down. They want Adam Gase.
They're going for Trevor Lawrence, I guess.
So, I mean, it doesn't. They don't really have any other option. Usually, the assistant head coach is the one that takes over if your head coach is fired or incapacitated for some reason. And so he is the guy that's going to take over, Romeo Cornell. The biggest problem here is that I don't know that the offense is going to change all that much. Bill O'Brien this weekend placed the blame before the game on the offensive coordinator's play calling ability, and that's why they were losing. and that he was going to make play calls.
I think the owner heard that and was like, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, bud. You're fired. I don't know if this is going to change anything for Houston. Like if Adam Gase gets fired, I'm almost excited about Le'Veon Bell getting 400 touches a game.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because the GM is going to walk down from the top booth in New York.
Like, why are we paying this man all this money?
Why are we paying this man all this money? Just give him the ball. And then the offensive coordinator or the head coach can feel pressure to give it to him. So I don't think it changes anything in Houston, though. I think they still aren't that great a team, and they're probably going to lose. I think this is a good moment for them just to reset. I mean, you got a good quarterback in Deshaun Watson that you can kind of build around, but you basically wasted everything this offseason to try to, I don't know what his goal was or what his idea was.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to trade Hopkins, you got to get 2 first-round picks for him, and they got a 60-year-old running back.
Right. Yeah, it's just, it made no sense, anything they were doing.
Yeah, highly unfortunate.
I mean, if you're an NFL fan,
highly unfortunate for Houston that they hired Bill
team.
O'Brien is what I meant to say. Good Lord. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see how that situation shakes out in Houston. Usually when a coaching change happens like that, the team rallies around the players and they win a couple of games. So we're going to see if that happens.
True,
but that's probably the most shocking firing because
had
they
a
were
really tough schedule too.
Yeah. It's very shocking that he was fired, though. I'm astounded. Because he wasn't doing a good job, but why not keep him, on staff as the head coach and just take his GM duties away?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why fire him in the whole? Maybe he was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I want the head coach
the pride. They got Jacksonville this week, so they got a chance. Get their first win of the season.
True. So let's jump into waiver wire. For quarterbacks, we're going to take a different approach for the rest of the season.
Okay.
I noticed that we were talking about the same quarterbacks on a week-to-week basis on the waiver wire because nothing really changes. So we're going to try to give you some real quick, streams for your week in case you're streaming quarterbacks and you didn't happen to draft Josh Allen like I did. Next time, just listen to me, bro.
We did tell you to draft Josh Allen all offseason.
True. So if you had to pick, I'll give one, you give one. If you had to pick one quarterback on the waiver wire this week to stream going into this second week, give me one.
Dude, don't put me on the spot like this. I don't even have it up. You go first.
All right. So this is kind of going to be an awkward one, and I hate to go off of 1 week of play, but Teddy Bridgewater had 29 fantasy points this week against Arizona. And in case you didn't know, Arizona is a high-scoring offense. So guess who they go out against next week?
They play Atlanta.
Yes, they do. And Atlanta scores a lot of points. I feel like Carolina is going to have to throw the ball a lot in this game. In the previous couple games, Bridgewater had one where he threw 42 passes, but he had 2 interceptions against Tampa Bay. So that was not a good outing for him. But the other 2 games, he was averaging about 30 attempts per game, which is relatively low for a quarterback. In this past week against Arizona, he had 37. So I think he can have a relatively decent week. He did have a good rushing floor this week, 6 rushes, 32 yards, and a touchdown. But going out against Arizona, they're going to have to score, and they're going to have to give it to Bridgewater. And Atlanta has a terrible offense. So I feel like he can, in a divisional matchup, he can continue his success. I don't know when the game is, though. What time is it? Because if it's on Thursday night, man, I can't do those games.
No, it's not. It's not Thursday. I don't think it's
okay.
Thursday.
All right. I hate picking a stream quarterback for Thursday night and then they just poop themselves. I did 40 times last year. But anyway, that's mine. Teddy Bridgewater.
There are not a ton of great options. One guy I'll say, if he is available in your league, he is in some leagues. I don't think he is in ours, but it's Gardner Minshew. And he's playing against a team that we were just talking about, the Houston Texans. that have really struggled on defense this year.
Yeah.
And other than the Thursday night game against Miami, where he disappointed literally the whole fantasy community. Other than that week, though, he's been good. He's gotten about 20 points a week,
Right.
20 to 25 points a week. And against Houston, I think he can get another 20-point week. So if you're streaming quarterbacks, I think he's going to be a safe bet.
Yeah. Don't disagree with that. The other guy, I don't think it's a streaming option, but he's an interesting guy to look at if the Chargers don't play it stupid and put Tyrod back in. Justin Herbert, man, somebody comped him to Josh Allen, and when I watch him play, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
except for the fact that Justin Herbert has had 2 300-yard games, and Josh Allen didn't do that through the course of his entire career until week 1 of this season. Herbert has shown he can be really good. He has to avoid the turnovers. But he threw 3 touchdowns this week against Tampa. He doesn't have a good matchup against New Orleans, but in the following weeks he has the Jets and Miami. So if you want to get ahead of the 8 ball in terms of that, I would pick up Justin Herbert.
I don't know if he's going to be the starter next week because he's been 0-3 as the starter, and they're going to use that against him. Not really his fault. They played the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Panthers.
It's ridiculous. Did you hear what head coach, what's his name?
Anthony Lynn
said. I always forget his name, but he's like one of my favorite head coaches in the NFL. He essentially blamed the loss in post-game on Herbert. And I'm the man threw 290 yards and 3 touchdowns and kept you in the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't him. It was your terrible defense.
I know they could not stop Tom Brady at all. But somebody said that they're just trying to protect him, especially Anthony Lynn. He's despite him playing good, he's he could be better, all this stuff. He's going to bench probably. He's probably going to bench him, and then he'll play Tyrod Taylor against the Saints. And if they lose against the Saints, it'll just show that it's not the quarterback's fault, and they'll put him back in against easy games like the Jets and Dolphins and Jaguars, which are the next 3 games after that. And Herbert can all of a sudden win some games, hopefully.
These rookie quarterbacks have been stellar.
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting for Tua to go out and throw 5 picks.
A lot of people think is even better than Burrow.
Yeah.
Coming out of the draft.
Burrow's been insane. Totally.
Burrow has been, yeah.
I think he's 984 yards in 3 games. He's going to break every single rookie record if he doesn't get hurt.
Yep. 100%.
I like it. So let's move to the running back position and talk about some pickups. We had some interesting situations happen this week. I don't think there was a whole ton of injuries besides obviously Nick Chubb got hurt, but you're not picking up really anybody in Cleveland. So we did have an injury to Austin Eckler. The injury we'll talk about in more detail on Friday, but I believe he's going to be out 3 to 6 weeks is what I've heard. That could change over the course of the week. So we'll give you updates as the week goes along. But as far as Los Angeles, it leaves a little bit of an opening for the running back position. Now, if Josh Kelly is not owned in your league, which I highly doubt he's unowned.
Right.
I would go and pick Josh Kelly up because he's going to be the starter. He didn't look good last week when Austin Eckler went down, but I would still go out and pick up Josh Kelly. And if he's out there, I would put a handsome amount of money on him if you can. But what are your feelings on Justin Jackson moving into the number 2 role and possibly getting a little bit more opportunity?
I definitely would pick him up. He's 100% worth the pickup. I don't know if he's going to end up getting more time than Joshua Kelly. I don't think so. I think Kelly will probably end up being the guy in that offense, but I do think he's worth the pickup because there's a chance that he ends up taking more work than Kelly does from Eckler. And it seems like the Eckler injury is significant enough where you can put a decent amount of money on Jackson too, because if he's out for 5 weeks and Jackson kind of plays that Eckler role where he gets 12, 13 carries, and then he also gets 4 or 5 receptions, that's going to be really solid value in half PPR.
Yeah.
And PPR formats. He outplayed Josh Kelly this week. I think they're probably going to do something where they just like ride the hot hand between those two guys week to week.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how valuable he's going to be on a week to week basis for starting him wise, but he's 100% worth a pickup.
Yeah, I agree. How much waiver budget do you want to put on him?
Depends if you need a running back or not.
Yeah,
I'd probably in a $200 league, I'd probably put like $30 on him if I needed a running back.
Right.
If I don't need a running back, and you probably aren't even picking him up anyway.
Right.
Just a couple dollars if you need like a roster spot.
So the other side of the coin, I was just talking about Nick Chubb getting hurt. A running back, D'Ernest Johnson, ended up with 13 carries in the absence of Nick Chubb. And a lot of people are speculating at this point because I think Hunt only had 12 carries in the whole game or something like
11,
that.
I think.
But the this guy, D'Ernest Johnson, had 9 fantasy points, 95 rushing yards, 7 yards a carry on 13 carries. There's a lot of speculation that D'Ernest Johnson's going to take the Nick Chubb role. I'm here to tell you that's not the case. I have a stronger feeling that because no one knows who the crap this guy is, they threw him in there for more opportunities than not. They were blowing the other team out, by the way. So this was not like it was like they got to stay in the game and they're putting D'Ernest Johnson in, right? That's not what happened. They were blowing him out. Hunt didn't really need to be out there the whole game, and Chubb just got hurt. So I think they wanted to keep the other running back in this two-headed monster safe. And so Johnson got a lot of work in the game. He did look good, but he's not taking the Nick Chubb role. I'm sorry. He might be worth a speculative ad.
Sure.
But I am not excited about D'Ernest Johnson. I don't think he's going to take any kind of valuable role in this offense. He will probably get 8 to 10 carries a game with Nick Chubb being out. So it's not bad, but he's not going to be Kareem Hunt efficient. So that is the biggest problem you have with D'Ernest Johnson. And if you're worried about Kareem Hunt losing opportunity to that guy, I wouldn't at all be worried about that. By the way, Kareem Hunt's a top 5 running back now.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, you're hesitating.
I had to think. I had to think. Like, is he? He probably. Yeah. I mean, he's right there. For sure. And I have heard people say the same thing with D'Ernest Johnson. He did look good. I'll give him that, but he's not going to get more work than Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's going to kind of take over. If anything, like carries wise, Chubb is going to take the Kareem Hunt role. Kareem Hunt's going to take the Chubb role with his already passing work that he's getting. And then D'Ernest Johnson is just going to take Kareem Hunt's carries, and he's not going to have really any receiving game. So Hunt is going to get like 19, 20 carries a game plus the receiving work he's already getting. And D'Ernest Johnson's going to get like 10 carries a game. So it's going to be Kareem Hunt's backfield. I would pick him up though. If you have the roster spot and running back again, but I'm not putting as much money on him as I am like just.
I probably wouldn't put any money on Ernest Johnson unless.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put like a few. I'd put like if I need a running back, I'd put like $5.
Okay.
Just to see if I can get him, but I'm not putting anything significant on him.
Now, there's a couple more guys that I want to talk about. Don't go after Reggie Bonifon.
No.
I think there's going to be a two-headed tandem there in Carolina between Mike Davis and Bonifon, but when Christian McCaffrey gets back, he's going to be tossed into relative obscurity. So there's a couple more guys that I wanted to hit on. We want to apologize personally as a brand and as a fantasy football podcast for our love of Kenyan Drake.
Yep.
I'm gonna play a live audio recording of the room where all the Kenyan Drake truthers lie. Empty.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did pretty good in the offseason with players. Kenyan Drake was not one of them. We whiffed on Kenyan Drake.
I actually don't think he's going to be bad, but there is a fine line, right? I think Arizona, from what I've watched every Cardinal game because of Kenyan Drake, but the biggest issue that Drake has right now, and I've had this problem since week 1, is they're putting Edmonds out on passing downs. And I did not think that was going to be the case because they run so many plays. I thought it was going to be Drake on the field, but when they are running it with Drake, he's got to be on the field for the running plays, and it's coming. And the biggest problem is that I've actually noticed, and this might be a hot take, but Arizona's play calling as far as running goes, whether it's Edmonds or Drake, is horrible. It's horrible. I don't know if it's because the coach is calling terrible plays or because Kyler Murray can't call out of the play.
Right. Yeah.
But they can't get anything going on the ground no matter who it is. So I do think that if Kenyan Drake continues to play this bad, Chase Edmonds is going to start taking a lot of that work. Now, at this point, I don't think any of them are different. I still believe in Kenyan Drake. I don't think he sucks. I think he's a good running back. I think they thought Edmonds was going to be more efficient through the air, which he hasn't been. He's not getting any rushing work on the ground. You're still seeing Kenyan Drake get 15 to 20 carries a game on the ground. So that's there. But the concern is that he doesn't have much upside unless he scores a touchdown. And that is becoming more clear as the season goes along. Not saying that the breakout window has closed for Kenyan Drake because his best part of the season was the second half last year. So we could see that. But I would add Chase Edmonds this week because of the fact that he could take over that Kenyan Drake role. At this point, he's still probably a what do you want to call it, a handcuff?
Right.
But he has had some decent performances. He only had 6 points this week if he didn't score a touchdown. But I would add Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, I mean, the more Drake struggles, the more, I think, likelihood that Edmonds is going to get some extra work. So I think I would absolutely pick him up. Even if I had Drake, I'd also want to pick him up just in case if they kind of shift towards more Edmonds. As the
to be honest with you,
Drake continues to struggle.
I own Drake, and not to disagree with you on this point, but I don't want to own any part of the Arizona Cardinals backfield anymore after watching the games.
That's true, but with the difference with Edmonds and Drake, though, Edmonds, as you said, gets
pass catching work, right?
So if Edmonds also ends up getting Drake carries to go with the passing work he's already getting, then I think he'll end up being solid fantasy value.
Yeah, so I would add him. I wouldn't spend any more than like 25 to 30 on him. I don't think it's necessary to spend any more. I know. I was going to say that. I wouldn't spend that much, but if the max amount, if you needed a running back desperately, would be that. But outside of that, and then the only two guys, Damian Harris. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened with Damian Harris? Because I saw something about Sony Michel and it flew over my head.
Yeah, I mean, so this is pre-recorded, so we didn't get to see what happened Monday night. But Sony Michel did go on IR before Monday night's game, and Damian Harris came off IR, and he was expected to start Monday night. So if he's available in your league, I mean, I would assume to pick him up. I don't know how much work he's going to get Monday necessarily, just because it's his first game off IR, so they're going to use Rex Burkhead.
If he has a good game.
Right. If he's efficient, though, and has a good game, then going forward, he's going to be the starter. So
agreed.
You're going to want to pick up Damian Harris, especially with Sony on the IR.
And then the only other guy that I kind of had on this list was Keyshawn Vaughn from Tampa Bay. Leonard Fournette was hurt this past week. Rojo came in.
LaShawn McCoy was also hurt.
LaShawn McCoy was also hurt. Keyshawn Vaughn came in, and I'd like to reflect to previous years with Bruce Arians really quickly because we have to finish the show and we still have wide receivers to do. But back in the day when David Johnson became a thing, they had Chris Johnson, they had another running back whose name escapes me, and a pass catching running back as well, similar to the three guys they have right now. One guy went down, other guys became inactive, and then Keyshawn Vaughn started to earn, or not Keyshawn Vaughn, David Johnson started to earn a role on that team to the point where he ended up breaking out that year. I'm not saying that's going to happen this year, but David Johnson, that was his rookie season, and he was drafted. I can't remember when David Johnson was drafted. I think it was the 4th round. But Keyshawn Vaughn, 4th round, history repeats itself. He could actually start taking some snaps. I am worried about this backfield because of the amount of running backs they do have. So I'm not excited about it, but he's probably not even going to be picked up, to be honest with you. So if you want to add, if you have room and you need another running back, don't waste your waiver budget. Just wait till after Wednesday, see if somebody else picks him up. And if no one picks him up, then go out and snag him.
I don't think Vaughn has really any value redraft, even with a good week. He might get a little more work going forward, especially in the passing game. But the problem is LaShawn McCoy, the Buccaneers for some reason really like him.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette didn't play. I think this is a good sign for Dynasty because it just means he's alive and shows that he can play. Because he did have a good game, especially in the passing game. He's clearly a better pass catcher than Ronald Jones.
They had both of them, all three guys, really.
Yeah. He might end up being the best pass catching running back in the backfield. So it is good things, especially Dynasty. But I just think for this year, there's just too many guys in that backfield.
Agreed. Let's talk about wide receivers really fast. By far, in a way, my number one ad at this point is Higgins. I'm surprised that more people didn't pick him up last week, but everyone was. Justin Jefferson had a good game too, so not even worried about that. But a lot of people went after Jefferson and the other rookie from last week's show. Can't remember who it was. Brandon Ayuk, who did not have a great week last week.
Did you see the touchdown he scored?
I'm sorry, never mind. I lied.
I
just remembered that. The problem is that I equivalent Debo Samuel's number and Brandon Ayuk's number in my head.
Yeah.
So to me, that was Debo.
No, the guy who jumped over the defender into the end zone was Ayuk.
Yes, I know that was Ayuk. I watched it happen. I just attribute his number to.
He really didn't have a great game.
No, he didn't.
But he had the target.
He caught 2 passes in the whole game.
Yeah, it was because, Nick Mullins was not good.
Yeah.
Either. Like, nobody other than Kittle was really getting work in that game. So, I think Ayuk and Jefferson are both good ads, and you should be happy you added them. But T. Higgins should be on that list too. Yeah,
Higgins. I basically to break down that break down that receiver core. Tyler Boyd had 8 catches, 8 targets. And then you had AJ Green, who had 5, I believe, 5 targets, and he is starting to disappear. Because the more talented younger wide receivers are starting, not more talented. AJ Green was extremely talented in his day, so that's the wrong way to say that. But the younger receivers are starting to become more prevalent. He had 5 targets, 1 reception, and then Higgins had 7 targets in the game. And he had 11 fantasy points, and he also had a carry in the game, so he actually looked relatively good. If this continues to be a thing and Joe Burrow continues to throw as much as he is, which I expect to happen because they're going to be in negative game scripts and Joe Burrow likes to win.
100%.
He literally tweeted after the game, after they did win, "I like winning." He is having a tough time. He wants to win so bad, and it just there's so much not going for him there. But anyway, so Higgins, I think is the ad of the week at this point at wide receiver. I would say that, and you need to get him on your team, because if he continues to play that AJ Green like role, I think 7 to 8 targets a game is going to be a decent flex option at some point in the season if he's on a good matchup. So he's playable,
he's playing right now,
and he's young, so he might break out too. So you have so many variables with T. Higgins, but he's a guy that I would spend a lot of waiver budget on this week if you didn't get him last week.
Yeah. I'm with you 100% with Higgins. And as the year goes on, he might get more and more work.
Yeah.
And it seems like each week he's getting more comfortable with Burrow.
Tell us who the next guy is, Ricardo.
Number 2 on this list is Alshon Jeffrey. He's somebody that is under the radar, and I think not a ton of people in your league might. He's only owned in 15% of leagues, so clearly not a lot of people are talking about him, but he is a very good pickup, and he's someone you could probably get away with not putting a ton of money on and still snagging him. Because the Eagles right now, if for anybody that watched that Sunday night game knows, they have no weapons. Greg Ward was their number 1 receiver because Deshaun Jackson, Jalen Reagor, Dallas Goedert, and Alshon Jeffrey were all injured and did not play that game. But Jackson, Reagor, and Goedert are going to be, I believe all 3 are on IR. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Jackson is, but I know Reagor and Dallas Goedert are, and they're going to be out for at least another 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
Alshon Jeffrey has a chance. I expect him to come back this week. He almost played this week. He was questionable going up to the game, didn't play. If he plays this week, he could easily get 12 targets in that offense, because other than Zach Ertz and Greg Ward, there's really nobody, and Greg Ward was their 5th receiver going into the season.
Yeah.
There's really nobody there. So Alshon Jeffrey could honestly come in first game of the season and get 10 targets and get 15, 20 fantasy points, and everybody's going to want to pick him up. And hopefully he's already on your team by then.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he is definitely worth an ad. because once he comes, he is the wide receiver 1 and 2 on the Philadelphia Eagles when healthy. Like regardless of whether all the talent is there or not, like he's the guy for them. So you're gonna get a guy like Greg Ward's been targeted out of the wazoo in the absence of everyone.
Yeah.
But I would add Alshon Jeffrey. The next guy on the list we have is Laviska Shenault. He's owned in 25% of leagues. I would say maybe. I don't want to spend any waiver budget on him. It's not really an exciting ad at this point.
Yeah, he's going to all season, I think, for at least his rookie year, he's going to have some good weeks. I mean, this week he had a pretty good week. He had 5 catches for 86 yards.
Why is Hardman on this list? Is that many people dropped him? Good luck, guys.
I guess so.
Good luck.
But yeah, Shenault, he's an okay pickup, but I'm not really trying to spend too much on him.
Scotty Miller is a guy that I would invest in a little bit, at least a little bit. He's kind of reminding me of the Jamison Crowder last year, except a little bit more efficient. Because he's getting like he's Brady's white wide receiver.
He's more like a Danny Amendola.
Danny Amendola, exactly. So true. The last 2 weeks he's had 9 and 16 points. With Chris Godwin continuing to miss time and Mike Evans trying his best not to tear his ACL. Like literally Brady went to Tampa for talent and OJ Howard friggin' pops his Achilles. Chris Godwin's played 1 game this year, 2 games, I think.
Yep. A game and a quarter.
Mike Evans is trying not to get hurt. He literally every single week has one play where it looks like he's going to tear his ACL.
He got hurt this week. And he like limped off the field and then missed like 2 drives and came back in the game. And the rest of the game he was limping.
Yeah. I think Mike Evans is blowing it up though this year because of the absence of Chris Godwin.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Yeah.
I mean, we both weren't super high on Mike Evans. And I'm still like watching him week to week. Like I love
the
Mike
4
Evans
targets
as a player. It's just right. But with Godwin and OJ Howard and these weapons out, he's gonna continue to get worse.
He had 8 targets this week, but he's not. I literally was thinking about it earlier this week. I'm like, he's no different than he was last year. He's a boomer bust wide receiver with a little bit higher of a ceiling because of the target share being more accurate.
I think he's right. I think his floor is a little higher this year, but his ceiling might not be as high either. Because Brady does like to spread the ball, but his floor is a little higher because without the guys around him.
With that being said, Scott Miller should be a guy that you add because Brady targets him at least 5 times a game at this point. So and they're good targets.
Right. Yeah.
So Zach Pascal, no. Not excited.
Not excited. There's just other people. I mean, he has some good opportunity right now though with some guys.
Yeah, but Michael Pittman got hurt. He had 8 targets this week, but he only caught 3 passes. So it's just not. That's not a good one. So I think that's all we have at the wide receiver position, unless you have anyone else here. Tim Patrick was a guy that had went off this week.
Yeah, he actually somebody like in deeper leagues. I wouldn't mind him because he's going to play the kind of that wide receiver 2 role. The rest he's playing that Cortland Sutton role. Okay. So when Drew Lock comes back, he could be a decent ad.
Sounds good. At the tight end position, really quickly, Mo Alley Cox, man, keeps whatever.
We've had another touchdown this week.
Yeah, he keeps performing decently. Now he's owned. I feel like there's this one team in our league that always picks up the Colts tight ends. I feel like it's just an inevitable situation. He only had 2 targets, but he caught a touchdown. Only 1 pass caught in the game.
He only had 1 catch?
Yeah, so sure. Twitter was freaking out when he caught it. I'm like, relax. I'm still not in on Mo Alley Cox because I don't think he's going to have... Obviously, 2 targets for 1 reception is not
touchdown
great.
reliant.
I wouldn't even say that. He had 2 targets in the game.
Yeah.
Hitting the touchdown jackpots like playing the lottery and spending $1 on 1 ticket.
What was it? Was it Jason Witten last year when he was in the Cowboys? When it was people would pick him up and he'd get like 1 catch a week for 10 yards touchdown. But he got like a touchdown every week.
So stupid. Yeah, we also have that. I've noticed this. I'm pissed off because I just realized this week that TJ Hawkinson's on a bye. Frick me. So now I need a tight end. I don't know who to pick up. Oh, you want Brate? Is that? I'm gonna go trade for Gronk.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that
Gronk's
too. With
gonna get 3
OJ Howard
targets.
out, he could be involved more in the passing game. One of those two is
Brate?
involved more in the passing game. Either Brate or Gronk, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have Eric Ebron and Drew Sample, but I'm not excited about either one of those guys.
Yeah, Ebron is Ebron. Touchdown reliant as well. A lot of tight ends are. And then Drew Sample actually probably has the most targets, I think, out of all these guys.
He had a lot of targets on the Thursday night football game against Jacksonville. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was against Jacksonville. No, that was against when was the Thursday night game?
It was against Cleveland.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Against Cleveland, he had a massive load of targets, but in the last couple of weeks, he had 5 this week, 9 against Cleveland,
not
and then
really
1 and 1 against Philly. Yeah, not enough to get excited about, but anyway. Right. There's not really a tight end that I would pick up this week.
Yeah, same with me.
Unless you desperately need one, then I guess Mo Alley Cox for the shot and builder. Yeah, I guess so. That'll do it for the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. I was trying really hard to hit the right button this time because last week I screwed it up twice. So don't forget to check out our website, thefantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, Fantasy Champs.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.